Guys, we are going to start a documentary series called Nyako Chronicles. So please follow us. Please make sure you like our video and share it with other people. So, this story of Nyako, I just want to dissect it in a way that people can actually learn lessons. I do not want to do it in the way in which some other platforms are doing it, like shouting, trying to take sides, or doing things, talking about things that some people will not want their ears to hear. So I just decided to do this Nyako Chronicles because I feel as a Kenyan, there is a lot of lessons that we need to learn from this story. First, I would like to say that I know in our country we don't like talking about family. Family is sacred, and I know a lot of people are blaming Nyako and the family for bringing their issues out here. But believe you me or not, if you don't want to believe me, actually this is a problem that is in existence, that is taking toll of the mental health of so many people in Kenya. Now, when it comes to Kenyans living abroad and Kenyans living in Kenya, there is definitely a dynamic of power. Kenyans living in Europe or maybe in the United States, or those that are outside the country, are perceived as people that have a lot of money. There are some people that have come out to show or to indicate that they actually have the money. Kenyans back home, or the ones that are living in Kenya, believe that they should be given money and they should always be on the receiving end. So I would like to give the story of Nyako starting from our own genesis. The way she narrated it, I've actually been following it, and believe you me, you will really learn a lot of lessons if you listen to this series of videos. So first and foremost, Nyako came out and she spoke about, let me just leave a disclaimer. I may not narrate the story exactly or in the same words the way she did, but I would like to just bring in a little bit of psychology, and I'm not claiming to be a psychologist, but I think I have a proper understanding of childhood trauma. So please just stay tuned. Now, Nyako told us that the mother came with Wajakoya was already in his mother's womb. That means they do not share the same father. That was what Nyako said. Wajakoya also feels the same, and it has also been alleged by Nyako herself that actually the mother has had other siblings of Nyako that are also not, they are not coming from the same father. Let me say something. We don't like talking about these things because we take them for granted as families in Africa. We hide them. To some extent, people living in the US, people living in Europe know that when you get a child with someone, most probably they will always be there, regardless of the fact that they are not part of your life or in marriage with you. So Nyako's mother failed here. If she came with other kids, or if she gave birth to other kids, that she did not disclose their parents, like she didn't tell them, this is your father, that was a mistake. It has nothing to do with Nyako. Now, we have been told by Nyako and even Wajakoya himself that actually the father did not like Wajakoya. And for the fact that he did not like Wajakoya, he actually really abused Wajakoya. So Wajakoya has suffered childhood trauma. One thing that I would like to say, childhood trauma needs therapy. Someone needs a psychologist. You need somebody to take, a therapist or rather, to take you through so that you can narrate that story. You can be able to go through it, relive it with a specialist. It cannot be relived in TikTok. The fact that Wajakoya was more or less discriminated when he was growing up, he is dealing with his own demons. I will just call them demons because that's what a lot of us call them. And there is no way to actually help Wajakoya to ever be in good terms with any one of them. The fact that Nyako was the first child of the father that married the mother, and it was very clear that Wajakoya wasn't, definitely that would have bred rivalry, bitterness, hatred, jealousy, that kind of jealousy. And one thing I want to insist, because these things are not just things that are theoretical or probably stories that people are telling. I totally believe that there is a lot of truth in whatever is being told. And this is why I'm saying this. First and foremost, we do understand and we know that from the Bible, the first death that is announced in the book of Genesis is the death of a brother killed by another brother. It is Cain killing Abel. So it is true. Things can simmer between brothers in a way that people will never be in good terms. And the Bible acknowledges it. So we are not trying to say that talking about family issues is shaming family. It is what we have been told by the culture that we are trying to overcome. That you can suffer inside family, you should be disoriented inside family in the name of keeping and protecting it. I am not here to say that people should not protect things that they go through. Some of them are fair, some of them are unfair. But here we are talking about a very special situation. A father and a mother bred something. Like Nyako's mother, Nyako's father bred some sort of hatred between siblings. Apparently, they are no longer here, and we pray for their souls to rest in eternal peace. So this family does not have a central power. What we are talking about central power is they do not have a parent that controls what happens inside their family. And that is a disadvantage to this family. And that's why all of them, everybody wants to take charge. And those that do not want to be controlled or do not acknowledge the person that is making decisions for them, in most African countries usually say the firstborn is supposed to stand up and make decisions. This is a family that cannot be democratic. This is a family that there is no authority. No one person is making decisions for them, and they are in disarray because these are people that were left young. They've had to struggle. They've gone through trauma, each one of them, to reach where they are. And I'm not trying to clean them up. How this situation has been handled is a very bad. It has been handled in a very bad way. Personally, I just want to go through slowly, identifying where the gaps are, because there are totally so many gaps that could be filled and that Kenyans can look and learn lessons from. Now, Nyako has gone through a process of life. The person that we know in social media, we've known and we've always known is Nyako. We do not know Wajakoya until Nyako introduced Wajakoya to us. So, what I'm totally trying to say in this first episode, parents should carry their mistakes. These parents totally, people are saying that people shouldn't talk about these parents because they are gone. These parents are gone. They did not organize their kids. They made mistakes. And the siblings are looking for who should carry these mistakes. Okay? They are looking for who should be the carrier of these mistakes that the parents made. Why are they looking for somebody to carry these mistakes? Because something is troubling them. The trauma, the differences, the bitterness. As parents, we have a lot of authority. Parents can construct and parents can destroy. if your mother tells you something, you believe them totally 100%. If your father tells you something at that innocent age and you grow up knowing that, you totally believe it. This I can say in this particular episode, looking at where Nyako comes from, how she has explained her family, just that one bit, the parents failed these kids. They failed them totally. If the mother came with this Wanjakoya, and she knew that Wanjakoya was not the son of this man that she married, she had the responsibility to show Wanjakoya who the father was. That is what happens in Europe. Each child with their father, okay? And this is what people don't want to say, because a lot of people want to analyze this issue of Nyako with a lot of hatred. They do not want to tell the truth. They do not want to speak it the way they want us. I can say totally, I feel totally bad when I listen to some platforms, because I am looking at this issue and I'm like, we totally have people living in United States, we have people living in Europe, and they know the reality of how parents and families grow. There is a reason why European economies, the European economy generally, most of the countries are well up. It's because the fundamental unit of the society, which is family, has been legislated on by the government. So, guys, I want you to stay ear tuned in this channel, because I want to bring a lot of content that is going to be very educative, that is going to be very eye-opening to you. We are just discussing Nyako today, or in this particular video, we just talked about one thing: the mistakes of the parents. They must carry those mistakes in the grave with them. Nobody should be blamed for whatever this family has become, because here is a family that is trying to brothers and sisters are sabotaging each other, and the reason why they are doing that is because they are in pain. Apparently, in most families, people totally tend to project their pain on the firstborn. In this case, the very firstborn, who is Wanjakoya in this family, is already a total man, is a man in too much pain. He barely cannot see anything good in this life, and that is why he cannot appreciate small things that the sisters did for him. And he is at the same time trying to think that his own sister, who is also disenfranchised by one of the sisters, because they are on vengeance motion, or they are on a vengeance mission, is basically, and I mean basically, the one that is supposed to carry the mistakes of their parents. I am totally disappointed with people that are shutting down this family and telling them, don't talk about your parents. We parents have to know, even those parents that are sitting 24/7 in this TikTok platform, that we owe our children the responsibility of putting things right. Okay? So if you fail, you should be able to know that you must carry these mistakes into the grave with you, and your children should blame you whether you are dead or not. This is what people are not saying. But these are things that must be said, because they must be said in black and white the way they are. Okay? So, the parents failed these children. They made a lot of mistakes. Okay? And they left them in disarray. And they are now gone. And the children are bearing the pain, the differences. They've grown up, and they are not able to go over that past. Okay? Therapy is needed here in Andy for every member of this family. So guys, please follow me. Follow me. Follow me.